Hey, what's going on, guys? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at something a bit different on the channel. I mean, it definitely falls in line with our smaller computers and tablets and things like that. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at a 10.1-inch Android stereo for your car. I picked this up on Amazon for about $125. I mean, there's tons of them by different names, and they're basically all the same here. This is a 10.1-inch IPS 720 display. We have a quad-core CPU, and this one has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now, you can pick these up with backup cameras, with GPS modules. They offer all kinds of bundles with these. But I got one of the cheapest ones that I could find on Amazon, and I'm sure you could probably find this cheaper on something like Banggood. But I really wanted to see how these things perform because I recently picked up a new project car. It's a 99 Impreza. It's actually in the shop right now getting paint on it. It's got a single den Walmart head unit in it, and I was going to replace it anyway, so I figured we'd check this out to see if it would be worth putting one of these in one of your older project cars. Now, I wouldn't go out and throw one of these in a brand new car, or even an older car that already came with navigation and a decent stereo, but this could be a great option for a project car. If you got an older Civic that you've been working on, an older E30 or something like a little Impreza, then upgrading the stereo to something like this might work out as long as this thing works well, and that's really why I'm here. So for this video, we're just going to be bench testing this thing. I have a 12 volt, 3 amp power supply plugged in. I also have the GPS accessory and the extra USB 2.0 adapter that comes with the whole unit. I know it's not going to be a high performance Android device, and it really doesn't have to be inside of a car, but if it's super laggy, then this is something that I'm just not even going to use or recommend. Supposedly, the one I have has 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigabytes of internal storage, but we can expand that through USB. So once you boot it up, you're going to get an interface that looks like this. And I got to say, the screen looks way better than I thought it would for the price. It's 1280 by 600. It's an IPS display. It's not a top-of-the-line panel, but for the price paid, I thought it would be a lot worse. There is a theme section in here. There's a few to choose from. We could always go to Google Play and download, a different launcher if you wanted to, but the way this is set up, I mean, it's really made to be kind of a radio theme. I'm going to stick with the stock one that came preloaded. Actually looks a lot better than the other ones in my opinion. So I'll just head back over to that theming section. And it's this one right here. And this is supposed to go in a car as a car stereo, so they do have a radio app built in. If we go ahead and open it up, I'm only going to get static right now because it's not plugged into an antenna or anything, but we got AM and FM. And over here on the left-hand side, we do have a physical touch button so we can control the volume. And once we exit this radio app just by going back to the main menu, the radio is still running in the background. And if I start an app that needs the speakers, like let's say I start a game up, it'll cut that radio app off. But if you start up navigation or even Google Play, you'll see that that radio app's still running in the background until we turn it off. So if we go back here, we can just press the power button. Now this doesn't have 4G, 5G, or even 3G built in. You will have to connect to a Wi-Fi hotspot. This is connected in the house right now. But unfortunately, it only has 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi built in, so it's not 5 gigahertz or AC. And I can definitely feel it when trying to download an app or something like that. It is a bit slow, even though it's connected to my good home network right now. And when it comes to the UI, it's faster than I thought, but it is a bit laggy. I mean, it's not as good as I would hope it to be, like a nice little tablet. But for the price, so far, I'm not complaining about it. We do have a car settings application in here. This will give us our device ports on the back. We have some system information. We also have our sound settings, which is kind of a little equalizer. Factory settings, we can reset it. Car settings, and our Android settings. This will bring us into the regular stock Android settings. So on the website, they claim that this has a quad-core 1.3 gigahertz ARM CPU, and I'm sure it does. I mean, it's something low-end for sure. This one also has 2 gigs of RAM. You can get these up to 4. 16 gigabytes of internal storage, and it actually looks like that CPU is only running at 1.1 gigahertz. And as for the GPU, we have a Mali 450MP, which comes in very low-end chips. This is a Cortex A7 CPU in here, running at 1.1 gigahertz. And just to confirm, I also wanted to check in CPU-Z. 1.1 and 2 gigs of RAM. We're also running Android 9. Sometimes they try to spoof these, and it still could be spoofed, but it does look like we have 2 gigs of RAM. I did try to run a couple benchmarks, but the only one I could get to finish up was Geekbench 5, and it's actually one of the lowest single-core scores that I've ever seen with Geekbench 5 on any device. We got a 64 for single-core and a 219 for multi. A quick comparison would be a $25 Android TV box from Amazon or eBay. Single core on that with the S905X3, about 130, and about 450 on the multi. The built-in music player actually works really well. This was just a preloaded song. I will have to mute it now. But from the music player app, we do have quick access to our equalizer and our balance control. And again, this is running Android. We do have access to Google Play, so you can install any app that you normally use on your phone for music playback on this device here. So if you want to install the XM app or Spotify or whatever you use, it's going to work out just fine as long as it's compatible with Android. Google Maps is pre-installed, and this does have GPS. It actually comes with a GPS antenna that you can mount on your dashboard or wherever you'd like to mount it. That way you don't have to rely on your phone's GPS. And just inputting here, Las Vegas. It does take a second to find it, and keep in mind, I'm connected to my home internet. This is much faster than my hotspot. I haven't even tested this tethered to my phone yet. And it is working, but it's a bit slow. To tell you the truth, if I was on a road trip, I would probably just rely on my phone's GPS versus something like this. Next thing I wanted to take a look at was some video streaming from YouTube. Do not use this while you're driving your car. Go full screen, and I'll just go to 1080p and see how it handles it. It's really not playing at 1080p because we have that 720p display, well, a little under 720p. But even with this preset on 1080p 60, playback is really smooth. And of course, I wanted to test out some native Android gaming and emulation on this device. Unfortunately, I could not get any of my Bluetooth controllers to connect, so I did have to use that USB 2.0 adapter. This is Minecraft Pocket Edition. I've turned all of the graphics settings down. We're at 5 chunks, fancy graphics is off, and this is the kind of performance we're getting out of it. I mean, it's kind of playable here, but it's not the best that I've seen. Now I want to take a look at a little bit of emulation. First up, we have Game Boy Advance. I'm using RetroArch here, and it's running pretty decently. I do have the FPS up in the top right-hand corner. And I figured that this device would handle this along with NES, SNES, PC Engine, Game Boy Color. You know, all the lower end stuff should work pretty decently, but let's move up to PS1. And it's trying its hardest to hit that 60 FPS mark. This isn't a super hard game to run, and we're around 56 to 58 FPS. Kind of fluctuates in between there, around 57. With a couple tweaks or a different emulator, I'm sure we could get this to run a little better. We could probably get it at 60, but I wouldn't expect this thing to do Dreamcast or PSP. The last one I want to test is N64. I did try the MooPin64 plus Next Score inside of RetroArch, and it actually ran worse than it is right now. This is MooPin64 plus FZ from the Google Play Store. It's the standalone version. And even with something easier to emulate, like Diddy Kong Racing, it just can't do it. So I'm really interested to take a look at what CPU they're using in here. I got a feeling that it's probably an Allwinner or a MediaTek. Most of these devices use those lower end chips. And with that clock speed of an advertised 1.3, with that Mali MP400, I'm leaning towards a MediaTek. No matter what application I scanned this device with, I couldn't bring up a manufacturer of the CPU, so we do need to get in here and see what's going on. This backplate is aluminum. Basically, it's a big heatsink. I'm pretty sure they're using it to cool the power supply that's built into the board and the CPU. Maybe the CPU, I don't know if it's going to be making contact. We'll go ahead and get these connectors and ribbon cables disconnected. We have 3 ribbon cables here. And this is the main one for the LCD. But yeah, now I need to go ahead and pull this whole main board out of the heatsink itself. So getting down in here really wasn't much help because this is a rebranded chip. It's branded by Auto Chips, but I did notice that the power management unit is actually made by MediaTek. So I'm thinking that this CPU in this unit here is a MediaTek MT6580 or equivalent, because that chip's a quad-core A7 up to 1.3 gigahertz with the same GPU, and when it comes down to it, I mean, this is a low-end unit. You saw those Geekbench 5 benchmarks. I mean, those were really, really low when you compare them to even cheaper Android TV boxes. In the end, it's really hard for me to recommend something like this, even for an older project car. I mean, the screen isn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it is slow. I mean, we have a very low-end chip in this unit, and I know it doesn't have to be super high speed for being in a car, but in my opinion, the UI is a bit too slow, and even loading up a map does take a while, given that we have such a low-end CPU in this unit. If it had AC Wi-Fi built in, it probably would have made things a lot better, you know, getting loaded into a video, music, or even loading up your location in maps. I was hoping I was going to get a little better performance out of it, and the next step up is a big jump in price. I mean, you can get something with the RK3399. It's got a 7-inch screen on it, but I'm sure it's going to be much faster than this unit here. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I really appreciate you watching. I've had my eye on these for a little while, and I figured I'd go ahead and test it out. Unfortunately, it's just not a great little head unit. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And like always, thanks for watching.